Fantasy football is my religion.
Smile!
Because I love Brad.
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
All I see are lies and collusion. This whole season is nuts.
Giddy on up and giddy on out.
One-on-one, I'm undefeated, never lost.
Hey, fellas, welcome to another episode of Fantasy Gravy, the official podcast of the Kappa Sigma Alumni Fantasy Football League, hosted by me, your currently undefeated in 2014 Bunny Champion, and your Dynasty Destroyer this week, Stu. How you doing, Stu?
I am doing wonderful, sir. You know, I could be having a better week if if certain kickers wouldn't have scored 7 points last night. But other than that, I'm doing wonderful. Still in the hunt. Not doing as well as you, but I am doing all right. We've got we've got a crazy show for you guys today. We had a crazy week of fantasy football, record-setting fantasy football for a lot of leagues out there. Our league has had. I know we've had 4 fantasy juggernauts before, but never like this.
Crazy.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and move into the fantasy juggernauts. What do we got here, Brad?
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Well, Stu, like I said, Fantasy Juggernauts, teams that score 130 points and win. And Stu, you would have been in here. You scored over 140 points, but unfortunately you faced CoPro. So our 4th Juggernaut was Matt with 132.72 points. His MVP was Tom Brady with 28 points. CoPro coming in at number 3 with 149 points. And his MVP was Michael Thomas with 38 points. Number 2, Adam with a whopping, not 150, but 168 points. With Amari Cooper being his MVP with a 39 points. A 30 burger for Amari Cooper. And the number 1, I was lucky enough to have 171 points. My MVP was Deshaun Watson with 54. Nice little 50 burger for my favorite QB, my man. If I would start Will Fuller, could have broke the record.
Hey, do you know by the way that Sleeper made fun of you today and told you that you're trash at setting your lineup because you could have scored 223 points?
Yep, which made me feel great. It said I set the worst lineup because that's how much talent I have. I won't let you other guys out there know there. I have so much talent on my bench. I can be the worst manager and still score the highest. But speaking of scoring the highest, the perfect lineup for fantasy this weekend would have been Deshaun Watson, Aaron Jones, Christian McCaffrey, Will Fuller, Michael Thomas, George Kittle, Justin Tucker, and the Philadelphia Eagles defense. That is an actual possible fantasy lineup. Stu, how many points do you think that came out to?
Close to, it has to be over 300-something points.
Just in regular PPR, just regular.
In standard.
It's like half point PPR, standard.
Okay.
303 points.
Golly.
Yeah. 303 points according to NFL Fantasy. That's ridiculous. So, yeah, guys, those are your fantasy juggernauts this week. Tune in next week. Stu, can you give us the ambulance report?
All right, so we don't have a huge list this week, at least when it pertains to the players in our actual league right now. We've got Patrick Mahomes with a left ankle sprain day to day. He's another one with that high ankle sprain. I mean, if I had a 300-pound lineman land on my ankle, I'd have a hurt ankle as well. Like, did you see that? Like, his own lineman stepped on him.
Yeah, I don't know how that ankle's not shattered. It's probably held together by super glue right now. He'll play Sunday. I mean, he was playing on it. There's no way Mahomes, they bench him. He'll play through it, which will be interesting because it's a Kansas City Texans matchup. And everyone wants to see Mahomes and Watson on the field in that game. I hope Mahomes plays. I hope he's healthier just because it'll make the game more exciting. But if Mahomes can't be mobile like he was, upset.
Yeah, no, it's going to get closer than what it really would have been. Well, did they not play last year and Watson was kind of banged up last year?
I'm trying to think if they did. I don't remember if they played last year, but Watson was banged up the entire season last year.
Yeah.
There was a point where he had to ride the bus from Houston to Jacksonville to play because his lungs were so damaged that they didn't think that his lungs could make it due to the air pressure up in a plane.
That's crazy. All right, so next up we've got David Johnson, back pain day to day. There really hasn't been a whole lot of information on what's going on here or what's happening. It's really just been kind of up in the air, not sure what's going on there.
Coach said that he could miss Sunday.
There's a chance, but again, there is no information out there.
No.
We're just going to have to watch.
Yeah,
we're going to have to watch the practice reports, kind of maybe hopefully get some more information there, but definitely not getting anything before Wednesday. So, yeah, it's something to watch. Vince will sure be watching it, probably not. I think he's mad at his team right now. But that
Baker Mayfield and pick up Chase Edmonds, and just to be safe.
I mean, at this point, I'd pick up Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton scored more points than he got, at least 1 point. So,
I'm saying you might want to go out and pick up David Johnson's handcuff.
Oh, for sure.
Just being the safe side. And I think Chase Edmonds averages over averaging over 6 yards per carry. I think.
Yeah, I mean that offense seems to be going this year with the new offensive coordinator and new head coach. It seems to be rolling a lot better with Kyler Murray. I mean, the man's averaging like 50 or 60 yards rushing every game so far this year. So yeah, I wasn't upset about starting him this week.
No.
Next up, we've got Wayne Gallman. God Almighty! Like if the man would have played and got me 1 touchdown, I probably would be the happiest man alive right now. Instead, he got 1 play, got me like 10 and a half yards or maybe a catch and 10 yards, and then out with a concussion. So I don't think he's day-to-day right now, but from what I've heard, it's very unlikely that he makes it out of the concussion protocol before their Thursday night game. And then there was already a report from Rappaport saying that Saquon won't even play this week. So most likely going to have to find something to do for running back this week, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yep, old Wayne Gallman with a pretty bad headache, so he'll be out for a bit. And then Philip Dorsett, hamstring strain, likely out at least 1 week, but those hamstrings can linger. And Sammy Watkins, what? Sammy Watkins is hurt?
Shocker.
What? No, hamstring strain week to week. He gave Lubbock a big old goose egg. He was copying Mike Evans, what Mike Evans did to Mo. So let me get this straight. So Sammy Watkins has a blow-up game to start the year. Everyone's like, oh, Sammy's being Sammy. Look at that talent. And then the next 3 weeks, Sammy underperforms. But they go, the talent will come through. And then the next week he gets hurt. If this is the most Sammy Watkins year, I don't know what is. It's just typical Sammy Watkins.
You can't even be mad. Like you learn to expect it. No one probably played him week 1, and then you've had to play him every single week, just because you're going to feel like that a-hole that didn't play him when he went off for the second time. So you just keep getting burned,
and it works.
Yeah, and then at this point you just got to be excited that he's off your roster for right now and not burning you any more than he already has. So, don't wish for any player to get hurt, but yeah, I mean, I don't feel Lubbock's very upset about it right now.
Instead of Sammy Watkins getting points, there's a man whose last name was Pringle getting points.
Yep.
I mean, good Lord, Kansas City's throwing touchdowns to potato chips before they do to Sammy Watkins.
Yep, I agree. So we'll see how that goes. I think Tyreek Hill will be back here. I think next week. I don't think I've heard reports that he has a chance about coming back this week, but I'm not sure how that will work out if he does come back. I think they're going to limit him if he does come back this week. So, put him on your roster there, Lovick. I'm excited if you do. And then we've got Sterling Shepard with concussion, likely out multiple weeks because this is his second one this season.
Yeah, heard talks about that this morning. With it being the second one, that more than likely he'll miss more than one game. He'll miss at least two, just because it's the second one already this season, and they're going to have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I mean, and their team is already so beat up right now. They're playing a quick turnaround game. They're sure not rushing him back this Thursday. We'll be lucky if he comes back the following Sunday. So, and then we've got Marquise Brown, ankle sprain day to day right now. The hits just keep on coming for Lovick, because I believe, doesn't Lovick have him?
Bradford doesn't like Lovick's team, and he doesn't like Lovick's backups. It's been rough. And the thing is that what happens is these injuries don't happen in practice or anything. I think every single injury it's hit Lovick's usually like right in the beginning of a game. Like he doesn't really get. At least he got a touchdown of Hollywood, but usually he's getting a hit like in the first quarter, and then he gets nothing from him for the rest of the game. He can't even get 3 quarters out of the guys. So it's a shame.
I'm there with him. Apparently, it's going to be the battle of the beat up teams this week, because he does have. I just looked. Lovick does have Tyreek Hill in his lineup currently, so we will see how this goes. Yeah, it's just going to be an interesting week.
So it's going to be the crutches versus the wheelchairs.
That's
Is
it.
that what we're having?
That's the name of this week.
Crutches versus wheelchairs. Okay, you let you choose, Steve. Which one are you going to have? You got the crutches or you got the wheelchair?
The wheelchair, they move a lot faster.
Oh, I would go on crutches. You can use it as a bat.
Nope. See, I can just ram into them as a tank, get a high rate of speed, and just knock over the guy on the crutches. You can't get back up fast enough. Roll back around and roll over him a couple of times.
Okay, so you're gonna start at the top of the hill and just gain some speed.
Just gain some speed, knock them over, and then just roll over them a couple of times till they won't move anymore. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Watch out, Lovick!
All right, guys, so that's our injuries for the week. Not crazy. Bradford tried to take down a couple more players this week, but they seem to come back all right. We do have this is one of our bigger week buys. We've got anybody on the Buffalo Bills, Chicago Bears, Indianapolis Colts, or the Oakland Raiders, which the Bears and the Raiders make sense. They were in London. They always do this to teams that go to London. There's going to be another group of teams that do this here in a couple of weeks when there's the second London game, I think this week, right? Or next?
Yeah. The Bills, we're going to be losing Frank Gore, and we're going to be losing Devin Singletary, who'd probably be about ready to come back. That's really the only 2 players people care about on Buffalo and the Buffalo Bills defense. I believe Matt has the Bills defense, so he'll miss them this week. Go ahead and drop them, Matt. Pick up a different defense. The Bears, you'll be missing the underperforming David Montgomery, and
Allen Robinson.
And the overperforming Allen Robinson.
Yep.
The Indianapolis Colts will be missing Marlon Mack and thank you Hilton. And the Oakland Raiders, you'll definitely be missing Josh Jacobs. I will be searching for a new Walrus, and I think that's the only good people on those teams. So
it is. I think that's all we got.
Yeah. So bye weeks, and we got another big bye week next week. So dynasty teams, Stu. Week 5, I beat Rod. So I beat Rod in Dynasty and Redraft. I'm sorry, Rod, not sorry. Stu, you beat Dub, and you had a whopping 203.82 points. You went ahead and passed the 200-point mark right after Dixon did it the week before.
Dixon still holds.
Congratulations.
Dixon
You're
still
a monster.
Dixon still holds the title. He got 204.6 something. So he's still got the title, but Dixon and I are in the 200 club now. I am going to officially crown us the 200 club since there are 2 of us. I'm a fan of this club. With the way fantasy is going this year, there might be some others to join us later this year.
Yeah, I mean the 200 Club. I feel that's pretty fancy. You and Dixon need to go get like matching bathrobes or something.
Down.
And then Adam beat Dixon, and then so after Dixon's big week, he comes back down to earth, and then Matt beats Puva. All of us are 3-2,
except for B-Dub and Puva.
Oh yeah, I just didn't count them because they don't listen to the podcast. But yes, they're 1-4.
They are.
That's why the rest of us are 3-2.
Yep.
Because we beat up on each other and we've all beaten up on them. And week 5 coming up, I have an 82% chance to beat B-Dub. Adam, 57% chance to beat Puva. Stu, a 62% chance to beat Rod. And Matt, 75% chance to lay the Godsmack down on Dixon. So that's what we got, guys, for Dynasty. Stu, league consensus rankings. What do we got?
All right, guys.
Who comes number 12?
At number 12, we've got our league 0-5er. Have we ever had an 0-5? Well, I guess we have. Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan did it one year, I think. Sam.
Tim ever did it?
I don't think he quite did. I think he had one win in there somewhere that may have broken it up a little bit. But Lovick is our guy this year, having a rough year. First worst was a joke, and now it's getting to be real. If I can go ahead and beat him this week, he'll go 0-6. I know that hasn't happened very often. That's just rough. He's got to hope Tyreek Hill comes back with a vengeance, and see what Bell can hopefully do for him in this mid part of the season here.
Yeah. And number 11, Matt, you came in on the consensus rankings at 11. Personally, I had you ranked higher.
I did too. I had him much higher.
Yeah. So, Matt, I think what happened is Lovick ranked you like number 20 because he was upset with you getting that win and sitting across from you while you're eating them W crab legs for lunch. So, Matt, you come in at number 11. Big win this week. Congratulations. Hope the coffee tastes better. And Rod, you come in at number 10 after the beat down I gave you. I'm sorry about that. Not sorry. But you just need to make some moves and work those waiver wires, sir, because you're not out of it. You got 2 wins, and you're right in the thick of it. And who comes at number 9, Stu?
Then we've got Adam. Coming off that big win, he's trying to pull himself out of the hole that he and Matt and Lovick are in, trying to aim for purgatory, maybe even a sneaky 6th spot in the playoffs. So he's trying to get there. He's not out of it. Definitely 1-4 is not the worst. You have a chance to have a comeback. It's not going to be an easy road. But clearly your team does have the ability to go off and have a juggernaut game. So,
I mean, not just a juggernaut game, but 168 points. Woo!
Yeah, we got to see.
That's a big.
Well, and he's done it before because he did it the week I played him. I just happened to have a bigger juggernaut week than he did. So, his team has done it at least 2 out of 5 weeks. If he can just have some favorable matchups where other teams don't quite perform that high, he could have put a string of wins together. So we'll see what he's got here. And then we've got Michael Day at number 9. All right, so at number 8.
Eight. Yeah, Mike Day comes at number 8. The double tight end himself.
Yeah, he
hurts when he pees.
He is. He's got a bye to deal with. He's not been known for having strong win streaks during the byes because his team doesn't quite have the depth that he needs. We'll see if he's learned his lesson. He has been making some pretty interesting waiver wire pickups this year, so we'll see what he can do. But yeah, his team is there. They're in a. He's got a winning record, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no.
No. He's 2-3. He's 2-3, but he's in the pack with the rest of us. Yeah, we'll see what he can do this week. But he does have Sammy with an eye. It's a rougher matchup, but we'll see. Then we got Vince. Him and Vince are right there by each other every week. With this hard loss, it's pretty interesting that Vince is still this high. He is has a winning record for 3-2 right now still. So that could, in this league, wins matter. So Vince has got an interesting team. If he can have a better quarterback, it does look like he may be able to pull out some more wins for sure.
He's sitting at 4-1 right now, but Baker Mayfield, you think Baker would have got you at least 2 points. But no, he got you -6. You're only needing another point, like a point from him. Get another quarterback. Just let the Baker Mayfield thing go. His offensive line is really bad at pass protection. They're great at run blocking. They're just horrendous at pass protection. And the problem is Mayfield is now like a deer in the headlights, where even when there's time to move in the pocket, he's constantly rushing.
Yep.
And that is not good for a quarterback.
Nope.
So, I'm an OBJ owner. I don't like it. I'll ride it out. But, yeah, if I were you, I'd go search for another quarterback. That's probably one of the easiest positions to get. I know you got Teddy Bridgewater on your bench. Maybe you start him this week. We'll see how that goes. But I don't know. I might be searching for different quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure Teddy faces Jacksonville.
Well,
so
and there's whisper in the bushes that Drew Brees is passing. He had some. Did you watch that weird video he put up?
Yeah, he's passing.
Yeah, he's passing, but it was some really weird moves
he
was
might
doing.
Be ready to come.
Yeah, we'll see.
He might be ready to come back.
Next up, we've got Dixon. Yeah, we've got Dixon here. He has he got a win this week. His team was looking really bad, but Aaron Jones came like the superhero of his team and rescued him from danger and pulled out a win against the behemoth that is Mo. Mo got very upset and used Tim's name in vain. And it was really, really interesting to see because Mo has been really cool as a cucumber this year.
I'm pretty sure Mo was so upset that he magically invoked a tow truck to appear in Tampa, Florida somewhere.
Yep. Oh yeah. Dixon hit his Jeep because he knew that the tow trucks were coming. So yeah, Dixon has got a interesting team. James Conner's kind of underperforming with that entire Pittsburgh defense. Julio is off and on like he always is, but really that Atlanta offense has been struggling this year. Stephon Diggs with his dramatics. Clearly there was a point made to not, he decided to skip a day, got fined $200,000 for missing one practice and whatever else he did on social media and everything else.
He had a mini AB moment. Just a mini AB moment.
He did. Adam Thielen got just as upset at Kirk Cousins, but he showed up to practice every day. And how did that work out for him this week?
It worked out very well for Mr. Thielen. But if I was you, Dixon, I would try to look for another wide receiver. And, right now, Diggs is just a high-end flex play.
Yeah, nope, I completely agree. Well, and then he got a goose egg from Greg Olsen. Then he got a goose egg from Tyrell Williams. So double goose egg and still pulled out the win. That is an unheard of feat.
Well, the fun thing is the goose egg from Tyrell Williams could be completely avoided because it got announced before the game that Tyrell Williams was out. And I put a thing in the group me, and the next thing I know is Mo's sending me a text going, shh, one of those shushing gifs. And I'm like, why is he sending that to me? And then I realized, Dixon still has Tyrell Williams in his lineup. And Mo was like, he'll remove him. He's not Tim. I just, was hoping. And all of a sudden I get a text from Mo saying, holy cow, he left him in. And Mo was so elated because he's like, I'm going to get a win. I'm going to get an easy victory. I'm going to go 5-0. I'm going to remain undefeated. And then, like he said, Mike Evans gave Mo a goose egg. And then he said Dixon got a goose egg from Greg Olsen. Old Greg was too busy. He was drunk from all the Baileys in the shoe. And now all of a sudden, it just comes down to Aaron Jones and Zeke. And Mo's got the lead. This shouldn't be an issue, right? Except Aaron Jones went ham. Aaron Jones went off for 48 points. Aaron Jones does not like Aaron Cowling. Aaron Jones has a picture of Aaron Cowling that he throws darts at right now in his locker room. I guarantee it. Because for that man to go off like that, and Aaron Rodgers not to throw a single touchdown against the Cowboys, who he usually throws like a million against, it's crazy.
Crazy.
And
nuts.
Mo, I'm sorry, but yeah, there you go. So you lost, Dixon. You won. Congratulations. Probably the funnest game of the week, in my opinion.
Crazy. Nuts. So yeah, been a little crazy, and then we've got, but he's got some injuries, got some tight end issues, so we'll see how this second part of this season goes for him, or at least the middle part here, because he's got a buys coming up, and then he doesn't have a whole lot of depth, it looks like. So we'll see how this turns out for him. Next up, we've got Sammy with an I with the surprise victory that I wish I had this week. -6 points for Baker Mayfield for a win for Sam. Sam had to have been the happiest person last night if he was watching, or this morning. Got to be so shocked, so shocked if you didn't watch the game last night. So
Sam was really happy when they finally benched Mayfield, and he knew he secured that win. And you look at it and go, like you said, like, man, that is some real luck right there. And -6 points. How does that happen? And I'm looking like across the fantasy landscape early this morning, and all the tweets of people showing they had the game won, and Baker Mayfield cost them the game. They would have won if you would have got them a 0. They would have won if they would have benched Baker Mayfield. But instead they got greedy, and they went for the points. Now, Vince was down by 1 point, so he didn't have a choice. But, I don't know what Sam did. Sam must have wrote Nick Bosa a letter and included text messages about Mayfield talking about Nick Bosa's
Well, no.
Because he was angry.
Apparently, this all comes down to a game. Apparently, a couple of years ago between and Nick Bosa, they got whooped by OU, and then Baker Mayfield apparently spiked a OU flag into their field after the game and was taunting them really bad. And apparently, Nick Bosa did not forget. Hashtag never forget, and he shoved it where the sun don't shine last night.
Apparently Mayfield refused to shake hands at the game last night, and Richard Sherman took notice of that too. And I tell you what, Baker, buddy, you're teetering on Tim Couch, level here, where you had a really good first year, and then that was it, no more. So. Yeah, this is gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be a Ryan Leaf situation all over again, where the talent was there, but upstairs it wasn't.
Nope. And then next up in the ranking,
Sam, you come in at number 5. Stu, you come in at number 4.
I am not sure how. I like my team, but yeah, I have no clue why I'm ranked at number 4. I didn't rank myself at number 4, so whoever ranked this week, thank you for being generous, because. You guys, I've lost 3 weeks in a row, and you guys have continuously put me at rank number 6, and somehow I got to 4 this week by losing 3 weeks in a row. So I'll take an uptick for no possible reason whatsoever.
I didn't vote high. I can tell you that. I voted you much lower, but
I did too.
I think it's part of hope, Stu, and the hope is you have Saquon and Melvin Gordon coming back.
And Josh Gordon.
And people are just looking at that going, whoa, that's nasty with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
That 3-headed monster, I think that's what it is.
Possibly, because I don't know why I'm ranked that high. But we'll go with it. So then we've got Kaprovic. You've got a good team, sir. These top 3 teams, you guys are all going to make it to the playoffs this year. You've all got winning records, got really good winning records at that. I think Kaprovic is just barely behind Mo in points right now. Let's see here. Yeah, he's well, not barely. He's about 40 points behind Mo. But still, that's closer than what he has been. So Mo came back down to earth this week. Kaprovic still had a really good week this week. So keep up the win streak. You've got like maybe 3 games that you need to win to make the playoffs if we stay so skewed like this. But with all of the top of the league facing the top of the league, I think the scores the win percentages are going to equal each other out a little bit more than what they are currently. So 4 more wins should really get you guys into the playoffs no matter what at this point. We know our average is 6 wins get you into the playoffs guaranteed, but with the win percentages being so skewed lately, it has not been that the last year or so.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Mo. Yeah, coming down.
Number 2 at Mo.
Yeah, so Mo has gone down a rank somehow. He lost one. Not really sure. It was a hard loss. He really showed he has vulnerability. I guess that's what everybody's thinking. He's just not. He doesn't have a winless record, or he doesn't have a. He's not won all of his games, and so he's still a really good team. Eckler still looks like he's going to be a really good flex play for him. So I don't see him dropping down too much here, but from 1 to 2. And then Brad, looks like you've moved up into the number 1 spot since you were the only undefeated team at this point. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Looks like your team is a juggernaut like we all thought it was going to be. You've had a couple of rough weeks there, but you still seem to eke out that win every single week. If you get 2 more wins, I'm going to guarantee the playoffs for you. So your playoff percentage has got to be through the roof, got to be 100% at this point. With the team you have, even with the buys coming, your team's going to be just fine. You're going to make playoffs. You've just got to work on your winning 2 more games, and I think you can just about start setting up your team for the playoffs.
I hope so. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to get ahead of myself because I could get the injury bug, and then I can just lose every game too. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I face Mo this week, so that'll be a pretty tough matchup. But we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure whoever wins between me and Mo, they'll take the top spot next week.
Yep. All right. That is it for our league consensus rankings this week, guys. Brad is undefeated. Lovick is still winless. That is our only teams that are like that anymore. We've got losses and wins throughout the league now. We're all coming to the middle of the season. Let's see how it all works out. Brad, what do we got for our playoff and dildo bracket outlook?
Oh, right now with the buys, I'll have the 1 seed. Mo has the 2 seed. We just flipped. Playoff hunt is still CoPro at 4-1. Dixon, Sam, and Vince in there at 3-2. Purgatory, we're sitting with Stu and Day at both 2-3. In the dildo bracket, we got Rod at 2-3. With the Sheps at both 1-4 and Lovick at 0-5.
Not really surprising. That's the way it kind of looks. That's the way most of our rankings have kind of gone through. So yeah, not really surprised there. We'll see how this changes as the weeks go by. All right, Brad, let's go ahead and move on to our collusion corner, league upset and crazy trades of the week. All right, first up, what do we got, Brad?
GoPro traded Calvin Ridley to Adam for Larry Fitzgerald. Analyze that trade, Stu.
No one cares. No, for real though. They both have had really good weeks. I liked Larry Fitz. I tried to trade for him a couple weeks ago. Didn't have the greatest game, even though the matchup was so juicy. I think Larry Fitz is just going to continue to have a wide receiver 2 year throughout the rest of the year. Calvin Ridley has had his good games. Julio didn't have a good game, but Calvin had, I think, a 12-point game or something like that, 16-point game. So, he's going to have his games. He's going to get his points, especially with the way Matt Ryan is throwing the football right now and all the attempts that he's 400 and something yards yesterday or Sunday. So, yeah, both of them are decent players. I don't think either one really won or lost here.
And then the next we have is you, Stu, trading Matt Breida and Deshaun Jackson to Rod for Robert Woods. Analyze that trade.
Yeah, I would have won if I would have just had Matt Breida. I could really use Matt Breida right about now since I have all these injuries. Overall, I'm still excited that I have Robert Woods. He's going to have his up games. He's going to be a good flex play week to week, especially with the buys coming through. With Josh Jacobs doing as well as he is, he'll be able to cover my buys for running back, and Robert Woods can come and flex for me. So I'm not upset about the trade. Deshaun Jackson is still hurt and didn't make it to play last week. Don't know if he's going to make it this week. And Matt Breida had a really, really good game with 2 touchdowns and that crazy 87-yard run. But you clearly saw his percentage of attempts went way down. Tevin Coleman was way up. If Tevin Coleman, I think they're both just going to be 1A, 1B, but it did clearly affect him more than what Mustard did. So,
both games look fantasy relevant. Coleman and Breida, they love their running backs in San Francisco. They run so many running plays there they'd be fine. I'm a fan of Robert Woods. I think you're going to get big games out of him more consistently than you will Breida and Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson's so old. I don't blame you for sending him packing. But yeah, I feel it was more of like a Robert Woods for Matt Breida trade. And I'm with you on the Robert Woods side of it. I prefer to be on that side.
Yep. All right, so we've got our WAB Lotto. What is our current WAB for everybody in the league, Brad?
Vince has 93, Mo 85, Sam 80, CoPro 78, Dixon 66, Dave 59, Rod 40, Stu 35, Adam 26, myself at 20, Matt 10, Lovick Uno.
That's it's week 6. That is some crazy low WAB. There's clearly a point of the league that's winning, that's keeping their WAB for later, and then there's clearly a group that are losing and blowing WAB left and right. Now, you are the outlier in both of those regards.
Because I trade my way positions.
That is true. That is something you do. You literally traded a Will Fuller for Jalen Samuels that barely got any points last week. And then you put him on your bench. So,
guess what about Jalen Samuels? He's out for a month.
Yeah, he is.
Just had a knee scope done.
Yeah.
So, Rod, why drop Jalen Samuels?
Yep. Could have literally just paid for him yourself. And so we've got, that's it for our WAB Lotto. Next up, we've got our Laura Bell Bundy Big Board of Bets.
Giddy on up and giddy on out.
All right, Brad, we've got some updates here to some of our bets. We've even got one that has concluded. I've updated all of the statistics, all of the numbers. First up, we've got our water bet. Lovick betting Diggs outscores Adam Thielen, where Matt is taking Thielen's side. So far, Adam Thielen has 74 fantasy points, where Diggs is at 40.3. So that sounds like a large gap for 30 points, but Diggs does have the possibility of going off and doing just fine. So where it sounds the gap is getting farther and farther, we'll see how the season goes. What's the next one?
Let's see. We have me versus Lovick. After Game 6, Kyler Murray will not be a top 10 quarterback. Lovick said yes. I said no. Kyler Murray is currently what quarterback, Stu?
15. I currently have him on my team. If Lovick would have gone rest of season, he probably would have won this. Unless Kyler Murray has the craziest game next week, this will not come to be. He will not be a top 10 quarterback. I'll be very...
Because the bye week...
Yeah, go ahead.
The teams that are on bye is Bills, Colts, and Raiders, and I don't think any of them are top 15 quarterbacks. So he's literally going to have a really huge week.
Yep, and I'm going to be really upset because I have a feeling he's going to be on my bench this week. So if that happens, you'll hear me talk about it next week. All right,
yeah.
And so we do have one bet that has concluded, a water bet. Mo versus, it was Brad. Mo says Eckler has more points than Justin Jackson. When and if Melvin Gordon reports. Melvin Gordon reported not last week, but the week before. So I went and took all the points for the first 3 weeks. And Eckler had 69.3 points, and Justin Jackson had 18.5. So, Mo, you did win that water bet.
I barely lost.
Barely, my butt.
And then, Mo, at least you won something that week.
Right.
So, who scores more points over the fantasy season? Matt said Mitchell Trubisky. Lovick says Sam Darnold. And we all got ruled that mono is not an injury. Matt wants to keep the bet rolling despite the Trubisky injury. He's currently winning 31.62 points to 10. Another water bet we have. Who scores more points over the fantasy season? Shep says A.J. Green. You said Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones with a comfortable 46.10 points to A.J. Green 0. It looks like A.J. Green will not play again this upcoming week. So looks like Marvin Jones would just add on to that pile there for you, Stu.
Well, and he's passed his bye, so I feel good about that. Now he's just going to keep adding on to that total. The scary part is A.J. Green, when healthy, does have the possibility of catching up to this in a couple of weeks pretty easily. So I need Marvin Jones to build that comfortable cushion a little bit more for me there.
And Marlon Mack scored more fantasy points week 1 through week 16. Matt says Matt had Aaron Jones, saying that he would score more fantasy points through weeks 1 through 16. Well, who do we have? Let's see. The Matt had Marlon Mack, and I had Aaron Jones, correct?
Correct. Yeah, that is correct. That is how that goes.
Okay, so Marlon Mack, 74.7 points. Aaron Jones at 107.7. That's still pretty close. Anything can happen. Marlon Mack's on bye this week, though, so Aaron Jones will be able to get a little bit extra on that. Liquor bet. Adam said Sammy Watkins won't play 11 games this season. Regular, not fantasy. Matt says he will at least play 11. We're at 5 weeks played, but guess what? Sammy's hurt. Sammy ain't going to play this week. We'll see how long that lingers. And an update on 2-2s for the draft. You know, we have bet between us and the Get Some podcast who finally got some wins, Stu. They got 3 guys in that podcast and took 3 of them to equal the amount of wins you have.
Correct.
So 3 guys of them equals 1 Stu.
Yep.
Right now, it's most correct picks from weeks 3 on, and we're currently leading 11-10, a narrow lead.
It is. We tied again this week. We did have a couple of different bets, and we'll go ahead and get in that right now. Here's Brad and Stu's biased matchup predictions of the week. Very biased. Super freaking biased. All right, so week 5. Well, week 5, we got 4 out of 2. Me and Lovick. I'm going to predict me for that win. That's what Sleeper says. Lovick and I both have a couple of changes we need to make, a couple of roster decisions. It's not supposed to be a high-scoring affair, but we will see how that goes as the week goes on and injuries and practices occur.
And then we have CoPro versus Dixon as our game of the week. And we got CoPro just edging out Dixon.
I agree. I mean, Dixon is having a pretty good year. Having a couple of bigger scoring weeks and is consistently winning. But Koprovic just has a good team this year. He's making some good trades. He is trade addict for sure. He's joining your party of trade addiction. But he does seem to be making his team better every time. Next up, we've got Sam versus Day. Who do we got to win there, Brad?
Right now, who we have to win? We have Sam winning that one. I think me and you both agreed on that one.
Yep.
So, Sam, we have you beating Day Day. Now, the next one we have, we're going to discuss this one, Stu, because this one I think is close. It's Adam and Vince. And I kind of want to discuss the matchup with you because we got Adam with Russell Wilson against Cleveland. And then we have Vince with Baker Mayfield. I don't think Vince starts Baker Mayfield next week.
I agree.
His quarterback on the bench is Teddy Bridgewater at Jacksonville. I don't feel comfortable about that matchup either. I think Vince goes against a different quarterback. Jordan Howard against Minnesota, I don't like that. Todd Gurley against San Francisco, it's not a great matchup either, but they've been putting Todd Gurley more in. You got David Johnson, who may not play, but if he does, it's a juicy matchup against Atlanta.
Great matchup.
And then you got Kerryon Johnson for Adam against Green Bay, which is pretty good.
Actually,
So
I will disagree on that one. I think Green Bay has had a really good defense this year, and I think that's where you and I are differing because Kerryon Johnson has been amazing for this team this year. He will catch passes, but, I mean, Zeke had an all right game, but do you consider Zeke and Kerryon to be the same caliber of running back?
I follow Chris Harris for fantasy. He has this thing called a Harris Index, where it shows the average standard deviation of defenses versus different positions of offense. And Green Bay is a great defense because the quarterbacks against Green Bay score 3 points less on average than what they usually do. They the wide receivers negative 1.8, the tight ends negative 1.2. Defenses that face Green Bay usually score negative 3.6 standard deviation. But running backs, Stu, are a positive 5.4. That's the third best in the NFL. So I think that's what it is. They can't pass on Green Bay. And running backs, like Kerryon Johnson, is also a receiving back. He's dual threat. So I beg to differ. I think Kerryon Johnson has a big game against Green Bay on Monday night.
Well, we've also got Calvin Ridley versus Arizona, which is a great matchup. That should just be – he should feast there. He should do a great job. Right now, Vince has Allen Robinson in. I think he will switch him out for Kenny Golladay, which is versus the Green Bay Packers also, which, you know, just like you said, he's a wide receiver. They have been doing really well against wide receiver. Then we've got Austin Hooper, which should just go ham this week against Arizona.
Arizona against the tight ends. Tight ends score the most points against Arizona than any other defense.
They apparently just don't know the position exists, and they're invisible out there on the field. It's amazing. Now, Adam has Delaney Walker against Denver at that. He needs a Walker right now for sure. He's looking his age. He hasn't been real great the last couple of weeks. That offense is just abysmal other than Derrick Henry. So this is where I feel like Vince is definitely going to outscore. Then we've got LaShawn McCoy versus Houston. That's not a great matchup. And then we've got Chris Godwin versus Detroit. Better matchup. Not really. Not sure how that.
It's Carolina. But
Carolina. Sorry, I was looking.
Chris Godwin's been a beast, and he's got Amari Cooper against the Jets, and the Jets are actually positive matchup for wide receivers right now. Not a good matchup for running backs, but they're a good matchup for receivers. So, kind of looking over it all, I think you might be leaning Vince. I'm kind of leaning Adam.
Well, let's see here. Let's go. See, I just don't know. Because he's Adam.
I get close matchup because Adam has, I think, a good edge in the flex and at the wide receiver position and the quarterback position. But Vince, I think he's got an advantage at the running back and the tight end.
He's gonna switch his quarterback. There's no doubt he switches his quarterback. There's no way he sticks with Baker at this point. That's really where Adam's winning at quarterback, but I don't know who Vince is switching to. I don't know if it would really change anything if he does. The defenses both could switch. This is such a tough matchup to predict on which is going to do what. I think this is really the game of the week. As much as Koprovic and Dixon, that's an important game of the week on the standings. These two are it's gonna flip flop. There's neither one of them can feel real great about winning right now.
I lean Adam. I think you were initially leaning Vince. I'll let you call this one, Stu. I'll give it to you. And let it be your shot on this one. I'll give you the final.
So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to officially, for our predictions, we're going to say Adam. We're going to go ahead and do that. But how about we do this? For a water bet, let's you and I go Adam versus Vince. I'll take Vince on the water bet, but as far as the podcast goes and our prediction, we'll go Adam.
Yes, put it on the board.
Put it on the board. Done. All right, so that is our prediction. Adam is going to win over Vince this week, and then we've got Mo versus you. This is you. This is all you. Mo came back to earth last week. You went crazy last week. What is your prediction versus you and Mo?
Well, let's see. Let me pull up our little matchup here. What we got is I'll have to go the next week here. Let me scroll over. Okay, me and Mo. Well, Mo has Lamar Jackson against Cincinnati. That's a fantastic matchup. I got Deshaun Watson against Kansas City. I think it's going to be just a pass fest in Kansas City. Right now, Kansas City, if I look them up here, they're about even on quarterbacks. It's negative 0.9. It's not a real big deviation. Watson's ceiling's so high. I think him and Jackson kind of wash each other out.
Yep.
So now we're looking at the running backs of McCaffrey and Chubb versus Elliott and Ingram. Jets are really tough against the defense. McCaffrey's matchup proof. Not worried about him.
And it's Tampa Bay. It's Tampa Bay. It's going to be dumb. It's just going to be stupid. I mean,
between Mark Ingram and Nick Chubb, Cincinnati's got a horrible run defense. I think Mark Ingram has a big game that week.
Yep.
I'm hoping that Ingram just carries him down and gets vultured for touchdowns by Gus Edwards. But then we're looking at Mike Evans and Terry McLaurin against DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller against Kansas City. Mike Evans against Carolina. He already goose-egged Mo last week. Terry's going against Miami. I expect him to have a good game.
Yep.
He's got me on tight end, Evan Ingram. But they're going against the Patriots. And the Patriots take away your best player.
Well, now I heard rumors.
And the Patriots know their only player was Ingram because they don't have anybody.
Now, hey, I heard rumors that Evan Ingram had limited practice today and yesterday.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens there. And then it comes down between Eckler and Odell Beckham. I think Odell Beckham gets right against Seattle. I think they put a lot of emphasis to getting the ball in Odell's hands last night. He threw the ball. He received the ball. He ran the ball. And he did a punt return. So they're really working hard to get him involved. I think you have me marked down to win. I think it just comes down between the Houston-Kansas City matchup. If it's a high-scoring game, I think I take down Mo. If it's not, Mo's going to win.
Well, tight end is not going to help him. He's apparently nursing an MCL sprain.
That is not good.
No, it's not. So that might tip the scales. Mo doesn't have a tight end backup, so we'll see how this goes. So we're just going to go with you as our official pick. Next up, we've got Matt versus Rod, what do we have here?
We have Rod pick the win, and I think that's if Rod puts in Matt Breida and Marvin Jones in his lineup, Rod's going to win. Matt's got some really tough matchups that week. Matt got his first win last week. Congratulations. But just look at this week, Matt, you have, if I can pull it up here, you got Tom Brady against the Giants is going to go off, but Rod's got Matt Ryan against Arizona. You got Leonard Fournette against the Saints. They've been really tough against the run. Devontae Freeman, I think they're going to sling it in Arizona, not run it. And then questions with T.J. Hawkinson, if he'll be any good when he comes back. And then Juju Smith-Schuster is now on his third-string quarterback. And then your Buffalo Bills defense is on bye. I think Sanders has a big week. I think Philip Lindsay has a good week. I think if he puts Matt Breida in for Duke Johnson and puts Marvin Jones in his flex, I think Rod has a better chance to win this week.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree. That is a hard. That's another 6-7 points to his already 2-point lead. So it's about 9-point lead there. So yeah, no, I mean I agree. They've got some interesting matchups. We will see, but I agree. Rod all the way. All right, guys. I think that is it for the day. Is there anything you want to add, Brad?
That's all I got. You have a wonderful day, Stu. All y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. Good luck this week unless you're Mo. Mo, I want to hand you that second loss. So I want you to feel more defeated. So good luck this week, guys.
See you guys.